one man who's been in the news this week as well is Joey Barton, effectively suspended by Rangers, been told to stay away from the training ground. Didn't play yesterday, was nowhere near their game at Ibrox, their 0-0 draw. They lost 5-1 against Celtic last weekend in the Old Firm game. Hasn't been seen since Monday after a training ground incident. And it sounds like it was a verbal.
He's been heard.
It's been verbal. He's certainly been heard, yeah. What do you make of it all?
Well, it's the least surprising. It's a big story, but it's the least surprising story of the season so far. Joey Barton joins a new club, goes up there, claiming to be a reformed character, claims he can prove himself to be the best player north of the border, and within a few weeks he's suspended. He's been in trouble with a teammate. It's just another familiar tale of how Barton is clearly a flawed individual. I mean, I'd say he's a competent footballer, and he's a footballer who you'd expect to do well in Scotland, because obviously the standards are not as high as the Premier League, and he should do well there, and he should help Rangers re-establish themselves in the top flight. But I don't have any sympathy for Rangers, to be honest. If you sign a player like Barton, you get in trouble.
Did he set himself up with his comments about Scott Brown? Scott Brown said after the game, that 5-1 victory, well, it was pretty easy for me in there, and it looked like it on the day. That training ground incident that took place after the weekend, he'd have been reminded of those comments by Rangers players.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
You set it up.
I wouldn't have thought if I played for Rangers and you found out that they were signing Joey Barton, I don't think you'd be too happy about it, because he's just a disruptive person. I mean, he's been suspended by the club. He's been told to go home and keep his mouth shut, and he goes on the national radio show.
I would say, sorry, Jeremy, just semantics. He'd been told to stay away. Not officially suspended, but I know it's semantics.
Yeah.
I know it's not a great deal of difference.
Same thing, though, really, isn't it?
But when we talk about him being trouble, and you look at his career, there have been incidents almost everywhere he's been. But look at Burnley last season. There was no problem like that at Burnley last season. And Sean Dyche is renowned as a really good manager, and it's known as a really good dressing room. And he appeared to be kept in check really well there. He played really well in Burnley's promotion campaign.
That's just one season out of what?
I know,
10.
But I'd say that was probably, if you're comparing behaviour, it's probably more relevant to compare his previous season to what he was like at Man City when he was a very, very angry young man. And he, look, I'm not making excuses for him, but it is noticeable that in a dressing room at Burnley and under the manager at Burnley, he did fine. He did well on and off the pitch. He's gone to Rangers, and I think he's tried to sort of rabble-rouse a bit, and perhaps that wasn't wanted. But I went up to Glasgow before the derby, and did the Rangers press conference on the Thursday, and Mark Warburton was asked about Barton, and Kenny Miller was asked about Barton, and they were kind of going, he's very, very experienced, very very opinionated, and you could tell there were tensions already, and that they were expecting him to do his talking on the pitch, and I don't think he did that in the derby by any stretch of the imagination. But it's it's clearly a mess.
He's instead of going home and keeping his head down for 4 or 5 days, without the club's permission, he's gone on a radio show and basically lambasted his manager, other teammates, everyone in sight. Basically, it's just madness.
And this is before his book comes out this week, which
time is everything. Yeah,
which I'm told is not a kind of bedtime story for kids.
I'm sure. I'm sure it won't be. Matt, how's Mark Warburton dealt with this? He said it's an internal matter. I'm not commenting on it publicly. It'll all be dealt with internally. Did he have any choice?
Depends what was said, to be honest with you. I don't know what was said, so it depends on the severity. If he just kind of voiced an opinion in a slightly aggressive and loud manner, then that's what Joey Barton does, and I don't really have any sympathy for Rangers on that. You signed, as you said, Jeremy, you signed Joey Barton. You know the potential for what could happen, and you probably know that there are going to be instances where he tells everyone they're terrible and that he's great, and surely if you've signed him, you get on with it. To me, from completely the outside of having no inside knowledge on this, it looks like now it was a signing made not by the manager, because the manager is almost getting him out of the club for what everyone knows Joey Barton's about and making a statement, I don't want him around the place. If the manager signed him, it's actually even worse, because he hasn't really considered the whole package with Joey. And I actually agree with what Ollie says. You didn't hear a peep out of him at Burnley last season, and clearly Dyche was either prepared to take the rough with the smooth with Barton and let him have his say and then maybe quietly have a word with him, or he got on top of him from the start and managed the situation.
He's just high maintenance, isn't he? You know, and is it worth the hassle? Is what he brings to the team worth all the extras that go with it? And I don't think it is.
I know the next time we'll see him is probably at a book signing, but where would he end up if he leaves Rangers this week?
Well, someone will always employ him.
Will they?
I mean, well, apparently he's earning £20,000 a week at Rangers, which I know is a lot of money by anyone's standards, but by footballing standards, that's peanuts. So if he's willing to play for someone for £20,000 a week, someone will take him.
Someone in the Championship, he did well there last season.
West Ham.
With Burnley, yeah. West Ham.
Settle things down there.
Yeah, not convinced about. Yeah, I'm not convinced about that one. Perhaps not the best idea. Joey Barton's future likely to be resolved this week. What about the future?